Welcome to Cover Justice. I'm your host, Crystal Bowley, your weekly deep dive into the latest stories shaping the criminal justice system. From high-profile cases and groundbreaking legislation to the voices behind the badge and those impacted by the system, we bring clarity, context, and conversation to the complex world of law and order. I'm your host, Crystal, and each week we will cut through the noise to bring you the facts, the debates, and the stories that matter. This is Cover Justice, Unfiltered. Let's get into it. Today, we're heading to the Palmetto State, where one of the most pressing civil rights issues isn't just about what's on the books, it's what's not.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
Please, Emmanuel Church is plenty people shot down here. Please send somebody right away.
Emmanuel Church?
Emmanuel Amy 110 Calhoun.
And there's people shot?
Yeah, he shot the pastor. He shot all the men in the church. Please come right away.
Nine African-American parishioners are murdered during a Bible study at Mother Emanuel AME Church of Charleston, South Carolina. The shooter, a self-proclaimed white supremacist, is later convicted of a federal hate crime. The federal government called it what it was, a hate crime. But South Carolina, no state-level hate crime charge because there's no law for it.
Several months prior to the tragic events of June 17th, Roof conceived of his goal of increasing racial tensions throughout the nation and seeking retribution for perceived wrongs that he believed African Americans had committed against white people. To carry out these twin goals of fanning racial flames and exacting revenge, Roof further decided to seek out and murder African Americans because of their race.
10 years later, after Charleston, after George Floyd, after the rise in anti-Asian attacks during COVID, after the killing of LGBTQ individuals simply for existing, South Carolina still hasn't passed a hate crime law, and it's not for lack of trying. To understand what's at stake, let's zoom out. As of today, 46 states have enacted some form of hate crime legislation. South Carolina is one of 4 that haven't. The others are Kansas, Indiana, and Wyoming. But here's the thing. Both Arkansas and Indiana passed the hate crime laws in recent years. That leaves South Carolina and Wyoming as the 2 holdouts. In the Deep South, South Carolina is the only state without such a law. Hate crime laws exist to impose harsher penalties. When someone commits a crime motivated by bias against race, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, disability, and more, they're not just symbolic. They give law enforcement tools to track patterns. They help communities heal. They send a clear message. Hate is not just harmful, it's criminal. South Carolina hasn't been silent because of empathy. Each year, lawmakers introduce a bill, and each year it stalls. The most notable effort? The Clemente C. Picnic Hate Crimes Act, named after the state senator and pastor murdered at the Mother Emanuel. In 2021, the bill actually passed in South Carolina House of Representatives. That was a historic first, but then it hit the wall.
Has passed in the House of Representatives with bipartisan support multiple times. It would allow a hate crimes charge and additional penalties to be added on to violent crimes such as murder or assault. Prosecutors could seek these additional penalties if the suspect of those crimes targeted victims based on factors like race, religion, or gender. But every time it's passed in the South Carolina House, the bill has stalled out and died on the Senate floor.
The bill has support from major corporations, civil rights groups, and vast majority of South Carolinians. But year after year, the state senators block the bill. Without a state law crime, what happens? Local prosecutors can charge someone with assault, murder, or arson. But if those crimes are clearly motivated by bias, there's no state-level enhancement, no additional penalty, no public recognition of the hate that fueled it. Let's take a look at a case. In 2023, a young Latino man in Greenville was attacked outside a convenience store. Witnesses say the attacker yelled racial slurs. He ended up in the hospital. The attacker was charged with simple assault. No hate crime charge because, again, there isn't one. Without hate crime laws, there's also a massive hole in the data. The FBI tracks hate crimes nationwide, but reporting is voluntary, and many South Carolina agencies either don't participate or don't label crimes as hate-based. In 2021, only 16 of South Carolina's 400 law enforcement agencies reported any hate crimes at all. The message: either hate crimes don't happen here or we're not looking for them. Let's take a look at what happened to Jarvis McKenzie the morning for work.
Waiting to go to work at 5:30 in the morning, and I feel that there's something should be done with the bill.
Jarvis McKenzie is a survivor of hate crime. For survivors of hate crimes, the absence of this law doesn't just affect legal outcomes, it affects healing. Imagine surviving an attack that targeted your identity and then hearing your state say, "We don't see it." Hate crime laws are more than punishment. They're about recognition.
Need a law that will address all these issues. We should never have to go to church and go through what we went through.
Each year, advocates return to the State House. Each year, families of victims tell their stories. Each year, bills are introduced. But that doesn't mean the change is impossible. It just means the fight isn't over. If you're in South Carolina, call your state senator. Ask where they stand on the Clemente C. Pinckney Hate Crimes Act. If you're outside the state, don't tune out. What happens in one state affects the national conversation. And hate, sadly, is never confined by borders. South Carolina is a state with deep, complex history, one of both pain and resilience. But until its law recognizes hate for what it is, the state remains silent, where it should speak. You've been listening to Cover Justice. I'm Crystal Bowley. If you found this episode meaningful, please share it. And if you're able, support local organizations doing the work, like the South Carolina NAACP or the Charleston Area Justice Ministry.